Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to a beautiful day at Djuma Game Reserve. The sun is out, it is a bright blue sky, not a cloud to be seen, and it is the perfect weather to be out here in the African wilderness. My name is Tristan, and on camera today I've got Senzo. There we go, the three fingers as per normal. And we are coming to you live from South Africa, which means that you can ask us any questions that you may have about Africa and all the wonderful creatures that occur here. And you can do that on hashtag Safari Live on Twitter or the YouTube chat if you would like to. Right, now the plan for this afternoon is that we're going to try and just quickly go do our time lapses as we always do. I'm also quite keen to head towards Treehouse Dam because I think maybe, just maybe, with the heat that we've had during the day today, those tracks that we have of Shadow might have pushed her towards the water itself, and maybe the cub and Shadow are lying somewhere close to where that waterhole is, and we can find them sort of spending the hot part of the day in the shade. So that's the initial plan. If that's not the case, then from there we're going to try and just kind of work things and see what we're going to do. I had a little birdie tell me that Kuchava was seen on the southern boundary of Chitwa this morning, and so maybe we'll head that way. And of course there's going to be a very pretty moonrise over the next 2 days, and I promised that I would go towards Chitwa Dam for that later in the drive. So I think that's pretty much the way we're going to go about things. We're going to head slowly south and slowly east and towards Chitwa to finish up our afternoon, as we've done over the past few afternoons, and we've had a fairly successful run of it and recipe by doing that. So why break a good thing? We might as well carry on with it and see what we can get. It is the most wonderful day though. The weather is absolutely perfect. It's bright, it's clear, it's beautiful, and the conditions are perfect if you're a bird of prey, which is one that is hopefully not going to come too far over, otherwise it's going to make life very difficult for Senzo. But there is a pale form Wahlberg's eagle that is just riding all of these amazing thermals that will be coming off the ground when it's so bright and sunny like this. And can you imagine how beautiful it must look from up in the sky like that, when you're gliding along in this deep blue sky and you can look down on the green earth. Now unfortunately it's drifted away and is off to the left here, Sens. Just coming up to the left, there we go. Don't know if you've got it there. It might be a bit difficult to see. It's going towards the sun and Senzo's lost it. That's alright, don't worry, Senz. It's gone quite far away now, so it's starting to drift off into the sun, which is not going to be easy to see, but it is a beautiful day for them. They will be out on the thermals looking for food, and I can imagine some of those red-billed quellias that we had this morning. So for those of you that missed it, we had the most incredible sighting of these quellias drinking at Treehouse Dam, and they will be quaking in their boots at the sight of a Wahlberg's eagle Shadow passing over. And so that's what that Wahlberg's is looking for, is any unsuspecting birds that might be out in the open that it can then swoop down from that height and use its speed to then catch them by surprise. Now, as per normal, I am not the only one that is out here this afternoon. We will be joined by the bearded warrior of the Masai Mara, Scotty Dyson. But before we get to him, let's go across to Taylor Mack and find out what her plans are for the afternoon.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Sunset Safari this afternoon. My name is Taylor and on camera with me is Manu, and we are in the Masai Mara National Reserve at the moment. How cool is that? And we're hoping to find cheetah. That's what we're going to be looking for. Cheetah. We had 6 different cheetah this morning, and hopefully that trend will continue. Now for those of you who have just arrived, remember this is live, this is interactive, it's happening right now, so send through all your questions, hashtag Safari Live of course on Twitter, or alternatively you can use the YouTube chat. Now we're just kept on the move, we're just bumbling slowly, we're going to pick up the pace in a minute. We're going to head down towards that female cheetah we had towards the end of drive this morning. But sadly, I'm still uncertain as to who it could be. It could be Kasiri, the female that Scott had yesterday. However, the camp that we're at unfortunately doesn't have Wi-Fi, and it's in a bit of a dead zone, so we don't really have any cell phone reception. So as I was trying to look through the Facebook groups today, they wouldn't even load and the images wouldn't pop up. And well, when it comes to identifying animals, you kind of need a picture. I had some on my camera, but the ones I was going to use for a reference weren't really working. But anyways, we'll take it as it comes. Hopefully you'll be able to confirm. I haven't even been able to check Twitter in case any of you did confirm after game drive this morning that was in fact that female. So remember, just if you did find out, maybe you can just retweet, add the hashtag Safari Live so it pops up again so that the directors can see it. But it's lovely. It's windy. I feel like we've only had wind for the last 2 weeks. And it's nice though, nice day. I don't know how much rain we're going to have. I can't see any big clouds really developing this afternoon that look like they'll bring much rain, which is good news for us. Means we won't be putting rain covers up and down. Not so good news for the grass and for the animals, but it's green enough, so they will be fine. I don't think we're too far away from where we left this girl. We've got a bit of a drive still to go, but the area is starting to look a little bit more familiar now. Luckily though, Manu did drop a pin as to where our location was. Should we get lost, we should be able to find it again. Because sometimes the things in the Mara kind of all look the same, don't they? There's flats, sometimes there's rocks, and there's the odd tree or lugger, you know. It's all pretty much the same. But I'm just going to start keeping an eye out, because I remember this morning there was quite a bit of game, and I can still see quite a few wildebeest. You won't be able to see them just yet. And she was eyeing them out. She was looking in that direction. Don't think she would go for a big wildebeest though. I think she'd go for maybe a Thompson's gazelle. Right, so hopefully in the next couple of minutes we're going to relocate on this female cheetah. How exciting. However, Tristan's, of course, he's driving around. You've met him already. And he's the king of cats, and you never know what he's going to find for you.
Well, we are looking around for cats, and we're not sure what we're going to find, but what we have found is one of the most beautiful birds of Africa, and it was sitting perfectly perched in the nice summer sunshine, and it's now just ruined our shot. We had this most beautiful shot of it. I'm going to try and catch up. It is a lilac-breasted roller, so it is probably one of the most colourful birds we get out here, and particularly when the sun is shining like this, they just look that much more vibrant. It's the blues that are electric, and funny enough, it looks like it's got a nest behind us, so I want to actually check that out over the next few weeks and see if I can watch them going in and out and feeding their chicks. They often catch lots of different things, and so they're a good bird to try and follow and sort of spend time around the nest, because they bring all kinds of interesting little insects and various other things back. Now, it seems like it's going to be obliging and sit in the sunshine for us so that we can actually get a nice view of all of those beautiful colors that I was talking about. It was so nice just now because it was right up against this beautiful blue backdrop. It's still got a bit of blue there. No, it's not going to play the game. Oh, it's actually on the ground. That's even better. And look at the electric blue in those wings. Is that not just the most wonderful coloration? Really is a very, very special bird, and they are common and they are seen a lot, and unfortunately because of that they're often overlooked, and not so much overlooked, but they kind of disregarded, and people get a bit tired of them, so to speak, because they see them so often if you drive around in these wilderness areas. But I always think it's a great thing just to stop and admire the beauty of a bird like that. I mean, all of those colors together is just absolutely fantastic. Unfortunately, it is very far away now, so we're going to leave that one to itself. We did admire it for a few seconds, so I feel like we've done our duty for the afternoon. It seems as though the guys have been fairly busy as well with regards to kind of fixing the roads and scraping them and dragging them with tires. See lots of scrape marks where the mitre drains have been maintained. So mitre drains are these big sort of drain areas here, and they've definitely been scraped today. So I wonder if maybe these guys saw something on their sort of exploits during the day. I'll have to try and get hold of them. Now, I was saying that there is a bearded warrior in the Masai Mara. Some say he is absolutely fearless and that he's able to take on anything. Others say that his eyes are as good as those of a vulture. I'm not sure, but let's go across and see what he's got to say for himself this afternoon.
The bearded warrior. Thanks, Trist. I'm happy to hear that you're discussing wilderness plumbing with our viewers, and it's great to have you on board. My name's Scott. I'm teamed up with Jahawi on camera, and we've already tried and tested our plan A for this afternoon. We failed to find what we were looking for. There is a pair of jackals that we left in a valley behind us this morning that were hunting young Thompson's gazelle, and they didn't manage to catch one. It was only one of the jackals that we actually saw trying, but they do live in pairs, and I was hoping to try and spend some time with them if they continue to try to catch a young Tommy. But alas, we couldn't find them. But fear not, we have a plan B, and that is to head towards the Musketeer coalition of cheetah. Taylor, I'm not sure if you've jumped on board with her yet. She's also going to be in a similar area. She found a female in that area this morning, and hopefully the female and the 5 males will join together a little bit later on. Failing that, it would be nice to see the Musketeers hunting again. And we are planning on possibly putting 2 vehicles into the sighting, as and when they get up, so that we can try and, you know, film something exciting from 2 different angles as opposed to 1. So those are our plans. It's a beautiful day, nice and warm, a little bit windy, but all in all, it is another beautiful day out here in the Mara. Doesn't look like we're going to get any rain, even though there are a few clouds dotted in the sky. Now, I've got my eyes peeled in these open clearings to see if we can't find you any young Thompson's gazelle hiding out. It's incredible how well they can hide themselves in such an open area. Hey Ben, good to have you with us. You'd like to know if jackals will ever hunt in a pack, as opposed to just 2 of them. Not that I've ever seen, but that's not to say that it hasn't happened. I have seen, you know, couples hunting together on multiple times, hunting in relays, wearing their prey down. But I've never heard of a pack of jackals actually hunting together. I'm guessing the only time where it may happen is where young jackals that are semi-adults or sub-adults maybe contribute and help their parents making a kill. That might be one kind of random example where you may get them hunting in a pack, but not as far as I know have there been any seriously documented hunts. And I guess the main reason for that is because they do form pairs, and they stay paired up together for as long as they feasibly can, providing they don't lose a partner. And usually those pairs are territorial. Bless you. Now he's having a small sneezing attack. And yeah, so because the pairs will ordinarily fight against one another, I don't think that they will work together. Wonderful. Like I said, Taylor is heading off towards a cheetah that she found this morning, and why don't you get an update as to how far she is?
Well, we're here, we're in the area, but I don't see any cheetah, which is no good indeed. Now, I'm trying to figure out where she would have gone. It's a hard one. She kept looking sort of north of us when we were in the sighting with her this morning, so I don't know if she would have gone that way. I just want to climb to higher ground, and then we're going to scan. I think that's going to be our best bet. It has been so hot though today. I can't imagine she would have stayed under that little shrub that she was laying next to. That would not make any sense whatsoever. I'm going to stop up here. I'm also just checking under all the big trees that will cast a very nice shady spot. Okay, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to fix my earpiece because it's annoying me, and then I'm going to find my binoculars and actually have a little look around. Let me do that. Okay, this is the hard part because a cheetah can travel very far in a short amount of time. They are absolute machines when it comes to moving. I do see a couple of vehicles, but they're quite far away, but we can always head in that direction. Just do a quick scan along the tree line. Lots of buffalo about in the shadows as well, but not what we're looking for, I'm afraid. No. You see anything, Manu? Not yet. Right, let's have a quick look. Got it. Manu's straight ahead. There's a tiny termite mound. You see where those trees are at the back? Got her. There she is. Woo! Epic. Okay, shall we go closer? She's so camouflaged. She's sitting out in the open. Now, Philip, you're wondering if it would be too hot to use the fleur to try and scan. I think it might be a little bit hot. I think, especially now with the sun baking down on the ground, I think it's going to be giving off some serious heat signatures. But it's okay. We don't even need it now because I managed to find it. My eyes are working again. Woo! That's a relief. Because Manu's been teasing me about how terribly I've been spotting. I'm slowly getting better again. I can't believe I actually spotted that. That was incredible. She's just been watching us. I'm shocked though that she's out in the open, and it's been really hot today. Really, really hot. Maybe she's trying to sneak up onto something. There's a bit of prey around. Okay, where are we going to park? Where's the suns? It's not going to be great now, but we'll just sit like this for the moment being. Hello, girl. Yeah, you're panting quite a bit, aren't you? There she goes. And she's just sitting up using that very, very, very small termite mound as a bit of shelter. I wonder if she's been for a run. I wonder if she's tried to catch something and that's why she's panting so much. Or she could just because she's particularly hot because she's sitting out in the open. That could also be the other case. But it's flat. It's great hunting terrain. There's nothing exceptionally close by. I did see one Thompson's gazelle, which is actually, well, that would be the best thing for her, but it's very far away at the moment. I don't think she'll be chasing after that just yet. She'll have to get quite a bit closer. Oh, there she sits, and here she is. And now we start the battle with the flies. She doesn't seem to be battling them too much because they're all landing on me. So you're going to hear, and it's just me trying to swat the flies, of course, which is a bit annoying. Oh, I wonder what we're going to get up to this afternoon. I'm just going to keep an eye out because, you know, things happen so quickly with cheetahs. Something just pops up over the horizon and then, you know, you never know. But isn't that beautiful with the clouds? And I'll show you there's some zebra just in front of us. And the Thompson's gazelle there on the right-hand side that I was telling you about. Now, Proud Cat Mama, you're wondering how old this cheetah is. I have absolutely no idea. I haven't been successfully able to identify her due to the lack of internet, and unfortunately that's what you need to try and search. So I wasn't able to find out anything. I can't even confirm right now if it is Kisiri. I'm actually still waiting for a response from everybody. You probably have responded and tagged me on Twitter. I just haven't been able to even open it today or to get any of the notifications to download. So please remember, like I said earlier, hashtag Safari Live. Let me know if this is this female. I've also never seen her before. She's not a young girl. She's a mature cat. So I'm going to take a guess. I could be horribly wrong here. I'm going to say she's between about 5 and 7 years old, somewhere around there. Maybe even, yeah. I'm going to say something along those lines. I do know if it is Kisiri. Scott didn't know much about her either. He said that she'd apparently lost cubs last year September. So that's it. But like I said, that could be a completely different cheetah. So I'm going to have to rely on you. Because this side of the world, unfortunately, the signal is no good. Actually, it's better out in the middle of the reserve. So if I find some signal, I'll try and jump onto the Facebook groups and have a look. But it is difficult when you can't pull it up on a big, computer screen and you're looking on your phone. It's not particularly ideal. And now she's fast asleep. This is my favorite thing to do, is to sit and watch cats sleep. I absolutely love it. It is so incredible. It's the most exciting thing that you'll ever come across. I don't know if I have patience to sit with sleeping cats today. But we know that the Musketeers are not so far away either. Well, they could be anywhere. They could be closer to us now. So we'll go and investigate around there too. I'm so sorry, Kirst. I can't cover your comms. I can hear you trying to talk to me, but unfortunately I cannot hear you. That's a beautiful shot, though. If only she was sitting up on that little termite mound, that would be even more stunning. She can't have everything. Can't be too greedy. What's that? Sorry, I'm just quickly scanning while we sit here. Which is cheetah? You never know, there could be some more nearby. No. Very quiet on this end. Oh, that was a big sigh. Did you see that? Did you feel better after that now, girl? She's a nice cat, though. She doesn't seem too bothered by us, which is really cool. I'm always happy when we see animals that aren't petrified of the cars. It means that everybody out here driving around has been doing a good job in giving them enough space and respecting them. Often when you see animals that are petrified and running away, sometimes it could just be their personality. They might be a little bit on the shy end, which is normal, or young and inexperienced with vehicles, and that will take some time to getting used to. But other times, sadly, the truth is that they just haven't had very good encounters with vehicles, and they don't want anything to do with them. So this is fantastic. What do you think, Money? Money, do you think we should go and maybe do a quick loop around? I feel like if she's any more fast asleep, she's going to start disintegrating into the ground. She'll become one with the grass. Yeah, I think maybe she's had a little run around, and that's why she's panting so hard. So she might need a bit of a rest, but like I said, it's not too far away from the Musketeers. I think we're going to do that, and I think we've lost comms completely now. Oh my gosh, what a disaster. No, the gremlins constantly attacking us. They just won't leave us alone. Now will they? Okay, we're pretty much just going to go in that direction now, I think. Head there. And hopefully we come across the Musketeers. I said he's going to go back there a little bit later, but I met some people today. Very nice American family who do sort of missionary work here in Kenya, and they spent a little bit of time with the boys. They said they eventually got up and moved a bit, but they weren't successful. They didn't take anything down when they'd left them. They left them resting underneath a tree. So hopefully that's the case. I feel like I'm just going to sing you all a song now because I don't know. I heard something. Did you hear something, Manu? Okay, so apparently from Noel, you said that this cheetah's called Marula. Can anybody second that? Or do we have more than one response on this cheetah? I don't think it's particularly easy to ID cheetah unless they've got a collar around them. Okay, so it's not Kateri, it's another leopard, another cheetah. So I have absolutely no idea about Marula, the cheetah. Like I said, I've unfortunately not been able to do any research as much as I tried this afternoon, and almost had to get a new phone because of my frustrations of the internet connectivity. Oh my goodness, the flies. Go away, go sit on an animal. I thought that Maurice with his porcupine quill would protect me, but that does not seem to be working. I'm going to get someone else. I'm going to hire somebody else. You're not doing a very good job at keeping the flies at bay. Anyways, I'm going to send you back across to South Africa to Tristan. He's just bumbling about, but maybe something's going to step right in front of the road. Now.
That would be very nice, Taylor McCurdy. It would be very good, except it mustn't step right in front of the road as I'm coming past so that I hit it, because that won't be very fine at all. So I would love something to step into the road ahead of me. That would be far better than something running out in front. I think we don't need any scares. We just need to see the animal after all. Now, we've done a little loop around Treehouse Dam. Absolutely no more signs for Shadow or the cub. I'm sure they're here somewhere. It's far too hot for a cat to be moving around extensively right now. I'm pretty sure wherever they are, they're tucked up in some shade. And so what I'm going to do is come back to this area a little bit later. I'm going to try and kind of go around and just explore a bit, and then I'm going to come here a little bit after sunset, and hopefully by then they're coming down and having a late afternoon drink. That's the idea, at least. Whether or not it's going to work, I'm not quite sure, but at least it's a plan. A plan is better than no plan, as they say. Do they say that? Do they, Senzo? I don't know. Maybe. Who knows? They do. Okay. Senzo's agreeing with me. Thanks, Senz. It's always nice when your cameraman decides to agree with you. It always makes life a lot easier. But it is still quite warm, so I don't expect to see a lot kind of walking around just at the moment. I'm pretty sure that most of what we're going to see is just going to be spending time just kind of tucked in the shade. So I'm just, as we're going, just trying to scan all the shadiest spots as we go, just in the hope that something just pops out and kind of see it somewhere there. So maybe we'll get some little ears or a little tail flip in a shady section that will indicate that there is something. Little quellias, so there's a few quellias around, nothing like what we saw this morning, but I'm sure this afternoon, if we also come here at around that sunset time, we might find the quellias just coming for their last drink before they go back and roost wherever they want to. So it'll be a good place to be. I know I said Chitwa sunset, but we'll see. Maybe it depends on how our afternoon goes, but we might end up back in this area around that time. I know I'm a bit conflicted, aren't I? This afternoon I don't really have a clear plan, which is not ideal. Rommets, jackals, no, not really, not in the camp areas. Unfortunately, jackals for us are actually quite rare these days. They used to be very prevalent here and prominent, and we used to see a lot of them all over the place. But unfortunately, what's happened is there was a massive amount of rabies and canine distemper that's come out, and it's caused the jackal population to somewhat dip and dive a little bit, and so not as many jackals as we used to see. There are one or two of them around. We used to have the ones on Arethusa airstrip, and there's a couple down on Cheetah Plains open area, but here on Djuma I don't think I've actually even seen a jackal on Djuma since I've been here. So the numbers of jackals are very low at the moment. They are apparently slowly but surely starting to kind of come back around, and slowly but surely starting to kind of see some progress with them, and that there is some breeding potential happening, and that their numbers are increasing, but definitely not great at the moment. And what's been really interesting is that it's been the black-backed jackals that are far more affected. I remember as a kid going into the Kruger areas, and black-backed jackals were everywhere. They were spread all over the place, and you used to see them, and it was very common to see a black-backed jackal. Now black-backed jackals are a much harder animal to see. We see a lot more of the side-striped jackals than the black-backs, and the only real place that I've seen black-backs in this northern Sabi sands is on the sort of Kruger National Park boundary in Koro, Cheetah Plains side. There used to actually be a pair on Cheetah Plains, but I see they've disappeared. They're no longer living on that open area. It's now some side stripes that are out that way. So the side stripe is slightly larger, and I feel like they dominate these blackbacks a little bit more and push them out of areas. So don't see nearly as many as we used to. Palin, you're asking what a male and female jackal is called. It's called a male and a female, quite simply. There's no sort of difference. It's like male lion or male leopard. It's most of the carnivores actually don't have a different name, so they all male and female. That's pretty much it with them. It's not like our antelope species that are ram and ewes, or bulls and cows. It's a little bit different in the predator world. It's just male and females. I'm checking very carefully as we're driving along here, because I know Shadow often likes this drainage line. She walks around in here. It's shady, it's thick, it's dense. It's the perfect place for a leopard to be kind of hiding out. It's also a great place for a lot of antelope species, birds. I've spotted a lot of owls along this drainage before, so always like just kind of meandering along as slowly as I can from this area. What I also might do is actually head into the Mulawati, because I haven't been in there today, and so maybe there's some sort of sign in that area of something. Nope, I thought I spotted something, but I didn't. It keeps happening to me today. I don't know why. I keep kind of getting these glimpses and getting quite excited, and then I realize that it's just a stump. I don't know why that's happening, but it is. It's one of those things. Some days your eyes just deceive you more than others, and it's amazing how many stumps and rocks and trees out here can look just like what you're wanting to try and find. It really is fascinating how they do kind of take on that appearance, and how your brain almost tricks you into thinking that you've seen something that you actually haven't. It's quite a funny thing, and especially when you're really searching for something, then you'll kind of spot little things that look like it's everywhere. When you kind of ease off and carry on sort of just trying to drive along and just have a little look around, then you find that you actually spot things better than really trying to concentrate hard and staring for certain animals. Right, well, I'm going to meander up into the Mulawati and then down towards Twin Dams, and while I do that, I believe Scotty D, who's I think still somewhere down in the Telek region looking for cheetah and the Musketeers. I don't know if he's had any luck, but let's go across and find out.
Well, Tristan is going to one of my favorite places on Djuma, and here we are with one of my favorite characters of the Mara, the Musketeer Coalition, just snoozing in the shade. It is quite a hot afternoon, and who knows how long it'll be that they decide to continue snoozing, but I do think we are in for some possible action this evening. It would have been 36 hours since their last meal, and they had a brief kind of investigatory chase, or at least one of them did this morning, which is a good sign that they were starting to think about their next meal, but didn't really commit to anything serious. I've got a feeling that if they come across any half-decent opportunities this evening, we could get lucky and see them in action. Well, certainly good prospects this afternoon. Taylor with that female cheetah. I'm not sure, I didn't catch the name clearly. Kirsty did try and tell me. It sounded like Karula or Marula is a possible name that you guys have found for that cheetah, having positively identified her. I would be quite surprised if it's not Kasiri, because Kasiri was very close to that area yesterday. So I would assume that it would be her, but you can never assume things, Archer, and maybe it could well be another female. We've got lots of good options for this afternoon, actually. It's a bit tricky to decide what to do. Taylor also found a large pride of lions this morning. So, if all else fails, they're not too far from here. Hi, Paul. You would like to know how often will coalitions break up? I'm not too sure on an exact statistic, and I'm sure it all just depends on the individual coalition. You know, there'll be some of them that for some reason there's too many leaders in one group and they decide to split up, and others where the others are happy to just be second in charge and let the one individual claim all the dominance. There's a strong chance, that a coalition of this size could break up. I'm told that it's not common for these large coalitions to stay together forever, but time will tell whether these guys break up or not. We've got no idea of when they actually joined together and how many of them actually knew one another from before, i.e. was it a group of 3 brothers that joined up with 2 other brothers, or was it 2-2-1? There's obviously a whole bunch of different variables. There is apparently going to be some DNA tests done. Apparently the scat has already been sent off and they're just awaiting the results to come in, where we will then be able to know exactly who is brothers with who. Obviously we don't know how old they are as well, because we don't know where they came from. Some could have come as far as Tanzania. Others could have come from other areas outside of the Mara Conservancies, to the north or to the east or the west. So you do get a lot of wildlife in Kenya that roams outside of reserves and parks, which is quite unbelievable. There was actually a new cheetah spotted yesterday or the day before to the north of us in one of these conservancies that the researcher had never seen. And she said it was also a little bit skittish, which is a good sign that they haven't grown up in a reserve. Hi, Philip. You'd like to know how long would it take a cheetah to recharge after a sprint or a hunt? Of course, it depends on how long this sprint is and also how hot it is during the day. The theory that they will overheat is apparently not true. So that's been debunked as a bit of a fallacy that they need to cool down, but they more so just need to catch their breath, like you say. And I mean, on average, I would say anything up to about 5 minutes could be sufficient. Even if we take yesterday morning as an example, we came into the area, we just arrived after they had been chasing wildebeest. We saw them chasing the wildebeest from a distance, and they continued to walk around for about 5 minutes after we got there before they launched their next attack. What has this cheetah seen up in the bush? There's one that's started to get up, looking quite intently into the tree, or has it spotted something else behind us? Either way, a good sign that it's thinking about getting up. It'll be wonderful if they start moving now. It would be a bit sooner than I actually expect them to be on the move. I would expect them to get moving closer to around 6 o'clock. Very good. Well, while we wait for these guys to make up their mind as to when they're going to start their day, we're going to send you across to Taylor, who's found some elephants.
I'm hoping that we're going to be able to stay in touch with all of you because the comms are horrific where we are. We're down in it's like an oasis here. It is so beautiful with this little marshy patch. All the water, the elephants are absolutely loving it. So they're going down into those little luggers, which will be filled with water too. It is a gorgeous spot here, and there's actually an abundance of life out at the moment, which is quite nice. I mean, let's quickly go through some of the animals that are here. Not only are the elephants there, there's a pair of Egyptian geese just wading about as well. There are a couple of... Actually, there's a cool bird. There's a great white egret, or greater egret on the left. So I'm just quickly showing you. So there's some more of the marsh that you can see. Hopefully the elephants come down this way because it's quite beautiful. So there's a birdie just fishing amongst the reeds at the moment. I'm sure there'll be little crocodiles in here. It would really not surprise me if there's a big python that also lives within this area. This is the perfect habitat for an African rock python. There'll be plenty of food around, plenty of spots to hide away, and then of course nice banks to come out and sun yourself, which is quite cool. I wish these elephants would come here though and splash about in this marshy area. That would be absolutely beautiful. But I suppose there's no need to. They're in the lugger. They're enjoying the lugger at the moment, which is a problem because when they disappear down in there, we can't see. You wouldn't believe me if I told you that there's probably about 15 elephants here, but that's all we can see. At the moment, the others are all too small and are literally lost in that drainage line as we speak. But that's gorgeous. Come on, come play here out in the open, please. I don't know if... I'm just trying to see if they've had a drink already. I'm looking at their trunks. It actually doesn't look like they've had a drink just yet, or a splash of water. On a day like today, you would think that everybody would be swimming. I would be swimming if I was an elephant. If I had a swimming pool, I would have been in the pool today. But I didn't. So I stayed dry. Yeah, just feeding. All feeding on the same shrub at the moment. And when elephants do that, when they all, congregate around a small plant and start feeding upon it, it can be a bit of a problem. That's a quick way to get rid of it, in fact. And, it only takes each elephant to have a couple of trunkfuls of that plant before they've completely broken most of the branches off. And that's unfortunately what happens most of the time. But to be honest, impala are actually one of the number one culprits for dwarfing trees, so keeping them small, preventing them from reaching their heights that they should get to. So it's not just the elephants to blame. Impala are a big culprit as well. Lots of animals do it, of course. Giraffe are quite good. They just keep the trees nice and trimmed and pruned. They don't really seem to damage them too much. Jeez, look at all these elephants here. That's actually scary that there are so many elephants hiding in this lugger. Imagine you were doing a walking safari. I'd walk through here because it's just so beautiful. I'd come and have a look and do a bit of birding. And imagine walking to the edge of that lugger, and with wind like this, you wouldn't hear them moving about. You walk straight on top of them. But if you have got a big, drainage line between you, you should be okay. And hopefully they won't feel too threatened. They'll feel like they can get away. And it'll be a peaceful sighting. But there they all come out now. Slowly but surely you're starting to see that when I say there's about between 10 and 15 elephants around here, that there actually are. Have you had a bit of a splash yet? It looks like you've thrown some water or mud over you, but not very, very much at all. And I suppose if they are feeding around here in these lush areas, they don't need to drink too much water. They may have had a drink this morning or earlier today already, and just by eating plants that are quite lush will be enough to get all your water content. So Manu has convinced me that he thinks that I should stay around in this area because it is starting to cool down relatively quickly. It's actually incredible, that loop we just did to how the temperature is dropping now. I think maybe we should stick with that cheetah. And I can see Scott sighting too. He is maybe, those musketeers have actually moved also. Shall we go and see what our cheetah's up to, Manu? I think so. Let's go back and have a look before she gets up and she hunts something without us being there. I'll be devastated. I'll cry. No, I don't think I'll cry. I'll just be disappointed in myself. Manu will be disappointed in me too. Manu will stop talking to me. I'm just going to remember where she was. Let's go back up and around again and try to spot her. Right, let's see. I think if we take this little grassy track. Yes, let's do that. We should see her just over the ridge in a minute. We weren't too far away. Now, Paul, you're wondering how many cheetah are in the area. I still have no idea. I haven't been able to do any research on the cheetah today. Again, there's no Wi-Fi, no internet, but there's enough. There's enough cheetah to keep us occupied, which is pretty cool. We've got a really, really good cheetah population in this area, which is quite nice. Like I said, I've never seen so many different cheetah before in my life. I mean, I don't even know who they are. I've seen Kenya, I've seen the Syrian, I've seen now this cheetah I don't know how many of you are saying Marula. I haven't heard anybody say Marula, which is quite interesting. It'd be interesting to find out who this girl is. I've then seen the two border boys. I've also seen another female, which I think is one of Kenya's daughters as well, and then the 5 musketeers. So I've seen 11 different cheetahs since I've been here, which is pretty cool. I've probably only seen, prior to that, maybe 5 or 6 individuals in my previous guiding career. Not my previous guide, but in my guiding career up to now. So, which is, I mean, not great, but it just goes to show how well populated this area is with cheetah. But it's this perfect habitat for them. It really is. Okay, let me just check. Let me go past her again. Say again? Can you see? Oh yes, past that. You're quite right. Past the zebra, and then we should have a. She was quite far past the zebra. Please wake up, my dear, because I would love to see you move around and see how beautiful you are. It sounds like Scott's doing exactly what I just did and doing a couple of loops around while the cheetah are flat. It's hard to sit and watch animals, and I know it's not interesting. I'm not even going to defend flat cats. It's nice when they're up, and just every now and then it's pretty cool. See them? I wonder what there's some traffic up ahead. I wonder why there's traffic. Let me just pick up the pace just a little bit here. Just scanning as well. Surely she couldn't have moved. Have you seen her yet, Manu? We did go up and around, but she was up here somewhere. Where? She moved. I'm blind. On the left. The termite Manu. After all the grief you've given me, I'm going to laugh at you. I'm going to show you what Manu has spotted. Are you talking about this thing here? Yeah. Is this your cheetah? This is Manu's cheetah. Over here. Isn't that a great cheetah? I also don't know which female this is, so take some screenshots. I'm just joking. It's just funny because I've been spotting logs and rocks and all sorts of things. I just want to climb back up the same spot we did and try and spot her exactly the same way we did a moment ago. I think she's just up on the horizon, but I don't know why the cars are here. So I'm going to go Ferrari sparring. She could not have gone. Hang on. Do you think she's moved? What are these vehicles looking at? I'm curious now, aren't you, Manu? I'm changing my mind. There's lots of activity in the cars. Let's quickly go have a look. Bounce, bounce, bounce. Just gonna Ferrari safari it to just catch up. We'll come back here. She couldn't have disappeared too far. And now I need to find a road. Oh, comms are really bad here. Whee! Okay. Sorry, I'm driving like not quite a hooligan. I think hooligan is the strong word. I'm just driving strategically. That's what I'm doing. I will be shocked if that cheetah has got up and come this way or already. I will be very impressed. Okay, still gotta go all the way around. Now, proud cat mama, you're wondering if the Musketeers will fight with this female if I find her? Maybe. If she's in the estrus, they're probably going to try and mate with her. That would be quite cool. I know Scott's been talking about trying to see cheetah mating. But I've never seen an interaction before with male and female cheetah. Not even once. Mainly seen male cheetah, which has been pretty cool, and I've seen one female with some sub-adults before, and then that's really it. I'd actually only seen my first coalition of males when I was up working at Wild Earth. Otherwise, we've mainly just seen singular males coming through on a regular basis. Oh, I should have taken the new track, but it's okay. Okay, now I need to try and figure out what everyone's looking at. They're all on the move again. Where are you guys going? What are you all doing? There's just cars everywhere, on every side of the lugger. I have absolutely no idea what's so exciting. I wonder if there's a leopard here. Okay, I'm going to try and figure out what's going on around here and what everybody's looking at, so I'm concentrating. And I need to get to the other side of the lugger. I'm going to send you back across to Scott and see how far he is on his loop.
Well, good luck for Taylor on her quest to relocate that cheetah. We also decided to leave the Musketeer Coalition temporarily to see what else we could find. And we got lucky. There's an ostrich not too far away, as you can see. What is it eating? Just little pieces of grass, it looks like. Yeah. They're the most bizarre birds. And often it's difficult to tell what exactly they are eating, because they are often a little bit shy, so it's tricky to get very close with them, to them rather. Now this guy's parading around alone. A few weeks ago we saw quite a few male ostrich around females, and I wonder if this isn't just an unlucky guy who's got no girlfriends. It does appear to be the ostrich nesting season, and wouldn't it be wonderful to be able to find you guys an ostrich nest? Their feet are a size 9, UK, by the way, on average. If you're wondering how big their feet are, I know this because I measured one against my own foot size. And some tracks in the sand, not with one's actual foot, that would have been very scary. They can be quite dangerous. You get some cheeky ostriches that have been domesticated, and they're trying to attack you with those feet. Taylor, you'd like to know, where do ostrich nest? Would it be out in the open like this? And no, I think any ostrich nested out in the open like this would not be very wise, because a number of animals will consider their eggs food. So I think they will try their best to tuck them away in some kind of longer grass, but at the end of the day it's quite hard to conceal these almost football-sized eggs. It would be very interesting to see how much defending they do of their nest against various predators and how they go about that. Jamie, not so long ago, actually found a lioness walking around with an ostrich egg in its mouth, which was an incredible scene. It seemed like the lion actually ended up ditching the egg. I don't think she ended up cracking it open and eating it. I think she was having some trouble doing that, but I'm not too certain of exactly how that whole scene unfolded. What is interesting about ostriches and their nesting techniques, which I didn't realize until I did some research recently, is that they actually have multiple females that will use one nest. So what you'll find is the female who is dominant keeps her eggs in the middle and does the majority of the incubating. The other ones are just allowed to kind of keep their eggs there, but their eggs get pushed out to the periphery. So there can be over 20 eggs, I'm told, in one ostrich nest, which is a lot of egg. Okay. There's also quite a few wildebeest here moving towards where the Musketeer coalition are. So the cheetahs are behind us, and there's already quite a large number of wildebeest behind us. But certainly lots of prey around. Hi Kathy, you'd like to know if any of the big cats will ever hunt ostriches? And yes, they do. I'm sure all three of the big cats, lion, leopard and cheetah, will hunt ostriches, especially when they're small. But when they're adults, lions definitely, leopard from time to time. I'm not sure if cheetah actually effectively hunting adult ostriches. I've never heard of that happening, but it could certainly happen. I think lions probably going to be their biggest threat. Maybe big male leopards. Just going to have a scan behind it with my binoculars just to make sure the cheetah are still asleep. We just don't want to make the mistake of getting too focused on something else and lose track of what they're up to. Ooh. Okay, well, interestingly, I have spied one cheetah that was up, and it looks like a few others are getting up, so we're going to head back into that direction. Hello, Mohammed, you would like to know if an ostrich's kick can be fatal, and I guess possibly a small kid could be in trouble if they got attacked by an ostrich. A friend of mine also had a wrestling match with one not so long ago, and he's a big guy, about 100 kilograms, quite athletic, and he said it was terrifying. But I don't know of any people being killed by ostriches, and I think you'd be very unlucky, be it human or animal, to be killed by being kicked by an ostrich. They've got quite a big toenail or talon that could do a bit of damage. And the other thing that we often forget as humans is that we often equate wild animals' strength and their size to ours, so, which is a mistake, because an 80 kilogram wild animal is far, far stronger than an 80 kilogram human. So be cautious of that when sizing up wild animals. They will often surprise you. Even a little Thompson's gazelle would give you a run for your money if it wanted to. Okay, now even though I saw the cheetah moving, they may just be getting up and repositioning, kind of hitting the snooze button, so to speak. They may not get straight up and active, or they might if we're lucky. Kirsty, if you wouldn't mind just letting Taylor know that they are up and about. And once I get there, I'll let her know if it's worth her getting here sooner rather than later. For those of you who don't know Kirsty, she's directing the show. She's the head of our directing team, so it's best I'm on my best behavior. Otherwise I will be in trouble. So for those of you who have just joined in, we're approaching 5 male cheetah who were snoozing about 15 minutes ago, and hopefully they will be up and about and possibly doing a little bit of hunting later. And there's a chance, depending on how Taylor's afternoon pans out, that she may well join us here to try and get a few extra views if the action unfolds. Very good. Well, we're going to get into position. We'll give you an update once we get there and send you over to Tristan in the meanwhile.
Well, we're still driving around having very little luck, and I've just been checking all the mud wallows, and there's tracks here for what looks like a male leopard, but I can't see if they're fresh or not. They seem to be driven over by somebody at some point today, so I'm just double checking as to who this could be and whether or not they're actually fresh or if they are from yesterday. At the end of the day, the soft, puffy, sandy soil is great substrate to be able to kind of see tracks for a number of days. It becomes quite difficult actually to kind of determine them if you don't know when they were made. It's quite easy just to kind of drive there and think that they're fairly fresh when they're not. So I'm not 100% sure. I'm trying to ask the guys whether they know who these tracks are from or when they're from, and whether or not somebody actually saw them, or if they're just something that somebody drove over, because we do have a team that is out at the moment doing the roads, as I said, and so it could be that they were driving here and drove over the tracks themselves. Now the tracks I'm referring to are just on our left hand side over here, so they're just on the other side of the vehicle. You can see them quite clearly on the edge of the road there, so they're quite nice and clear and bright, and they actually look fairly good. The more I kind of look at these tracks, the more I'm thinking to myself, I wonder, maybe this leopard is still around somewhere close by, but you can see it nice and clean and crisp in that area, and it looks as though they go along the road a little bit and then towards sort of Chelapan side. So I don't know, maybe there is a leopard that is somewhere here and it's just been driven over by the team that is out during the day and heading down towards that area. So it might be worth just us going and checking around Chelapan quickly. We're not far from Chelapan, and given that it's quite hot this afternoon, it would be a good place for a leopard to be spending some time, that's for sure. I didn't see any tracks going south towards Twin Dams. There was nothing in that area, nothing around the Mulawati. I didn't find anything in there. There was a squirrel and a Franklin that were alarm calling and having a little bit of a sort of something to say in the Mulawati, but nothing really kind of came from that. We drove around for quite a bit of time and looked and looked and looked, but nothing really was sort of happening. So I don't know if maybe, just maybe, it was a bird of prey or something that came over, and that's what caused everyone to go a bit moggy. We know that birds of prey, particularly with things like squirrels, send them off the deep end a little bit, as well as the Franklins. So it could have been that, because there was really no sign, and a leopard would have been lying somewhere there. I don't think it would have been moving fast enough for us not to be able to see, given how quickly we got to the squirrels alarm calling. Now the reason why I'm checking here is Chelapan is quite an open kind of area. You can see that there's a lot of sort of open gaps around the water itself, so not a great place for a leopard to be lying right next to the water itself. Could be lying somewhere anywhere in this sort of general area. There's lots of shady trees down towards the Mulawati, so once it's drank, it might have moved down into the riverbed side and just be sitting there or under a tree with some shade. But there's still lots of water at Chelapan, so it'll still be a place that they will come and drink from. So I just want to double check down into the Mulawati and just see if there isn't a sign of these guys somewhere, or this guy should I say. And nobody can really tell me if they drove here this morning and whether or not these tracks were seen, but I'm gonna double check and just have a little look around. Never know, even if we don't see anything, we don't. But it seems as though the East African side of our team this afternoon, oh hello, that's very interesting. Before we go across to Scotty, I didn't expect to find you guys here. What are you doing here? Interesting. This looks like our 2 hyenas from yesterday. And there is quite a big belly on them as well. I wonder if maybe they haven't been part of this whole leopard process. I might just check around and have a look for some signs of a carcass. You never know. Maybe there was a leopard around here and these guys have stolen some food and now have found some shade. But they look like both males, so it looks like a very young one at the back end and then a slightly older one towards us. But this hyena has got a full stomach. You can see how sleepy it is. Massive big belly, and it is amazing. If you drove past Chelapan from the road, there is not a chance that you would spot these guys. You wouldn't even know they were lying here. So this is why it's important to sometimes check where you can't see in the shady sections, because if hyenas are around here sleeping, you never know. Maybe there's also a leopard somewhere in this area too. Hyenas often do follow them, and if a hyena's got a big full tummy like that, could potentially mean that they're just waiting it out, and in the shady section there might be a bit of food somewhere that they might have scavenged, and a leopard might not be too far away. So interesting find. I didn't expect to see these guys here, but they've been hanging around Chelapan a lot lately. I've seen a lot of hyenas in this area, and I'm wondering if maybe, just maybe, all the young males around, and maybe some of even the young females, are spending time in this general vicinity and using these drainage lines, because I keep seeing them go into the drainage line just to the north of us, and I wonder if maybe there isn't something around here that they keep looking for. Maybe one of the matriarchal females has got a den or something like that. It's possible. I know that males don't spend much time at the den, but they'll often lie up not too far away, and so it's possible that there is that. I suppose it also could be just because of water and proximity to, you know, all the watering points in this area that we keep finding them in this section. But that is one content hyena, and I like this hyena. It's got a kind of cute face, this one. It's almost got soft features and big round face and nice fluffy kind of coat. It's actually quite a pretty hyena, bar the sort of big fat belly and the lots of mud all over their coat. It is really quite a pretty looking hyena. Prettier than most, that's for sure. Not that I suppose a lot of people would consider hyenas as pretty, but I like them. I find that they are cool animals, and some of them do have sweet faces and sort of cute faces, and this one is one of them. It's got this kind of, like I say, rounded face and quite fluffy, and I quite like it. It looks quite happy as well, and content with its full tummy, even though it is so hot. Well, that was a nice surprise. I didn't expect to see these guys lying here behind this pan. It begs the question what they've been doing here. There's been a number of hyena tracks all over this area, so I wonder, it might be worth just checking around and actually scouting and having a little look. Now the other one has disappeared around the back there. I don't know if maybe there's some more around the back end. This one I think is far too full to even go anywhere and move. I think it's going to have a fat nap and sleep the hot part of the day away, and then as that sun sets it'll probably go for a little drink and then start moving, much like what we saw last night. Now I believe our hyenas, who are fat, round, spotty and sleepy, are the complete opposite to what Scotty D has got in the Masai Mara with his sleek, slender, spotty cats that seem to be moving around at a pace, and I wonder if they're going to be on the hunt this evening.
Well, everyone, we're in luck. These boys are up and mobile and heading steadily straight towards a very, very large herd of wildebeest. What a beautiful scene this is. Perfect sunlight, some beautiful clouds in the background, and some very, very focused cheetah. You can see just by the way they're moving, they mean business. Absolutely awesome. This guy's going to slink just a few meters in front of our vehicle. Maybe it's going to stop and enjoy the shade from our roof for a moment or two. I remember D'Artagnan doing that after they made a kill one morning. He came and lay right next to the vehicle in the shade. Now, as they move across here, you're going to get a good idea of how many cheetah there are exactly. I hope Taylor's putting foot, because she is going to come and join us here to try and better document a hunt. And the reason being is that these guys cover so much ground so quickly, and it's almost difficult to know which cheetah to follow, that we thought we would give Kirsty the obstacles of having to, or the challenge of having to pick and choose and chop and change depending on whoever has got the best shot. So it's going to be a bit more like an action sports game where you've got multiple feeds that you can see in different camera angles that Kirsty can cut between. So it'll be a trial and error. It may not work as well as we have planned, but I think it's definitely worth trying out. Ooh, forgot the cheetah was there. Whoops. So busy trying to think of which way to go. Now, a bit of a tricky one is you can see there's other vehicles enjoying the sighting with us, and ideally we would position ourselves on that side of the action so we have the sun behind us, but that means we're going to have all the cars in the background, which just won't make a very pretty picture. But I think we may, I don't know, it's a tricky one. It'll be better to have no cars in the background, but then we're not going to have the sun in our favor. Kirsty, you can just tell Taylor that she can just wait on the other side of the herd there, maybe. Just position herself somewhere decent and we'll stay closer by, maybe behind them as they approach. There's no point in her coming much closer by here. Well, I'm very happy Taylor has arrived because I've got a feeling we are going to get spoiled here. Maybe not immediately. All the cheetahs seem to be relaxing for the time being. And possibly just taking their time to not rush in and blunder an opportunity here. Well, Taylor's just commented that I am the herder and she is the sheepdog in our team. She is a character, young Taylor. What are you boys going to do? You were moving with so much intent that I really thought you'd keep on steadily heading towards this herd. They thankfully don't need to use too much stealth when it comes to hunting. They literally just kind of walk up to the herds, and then when it suits them, they start rushing in and trying to cause chaos and confusion. And then once they start making the herd run, that's when they can try and peel off or pick off an individual or push one out of the herd. So it's quite a crude hunting technique. There's not a huge amount of skill involved initially. They've obviously got incredible speed, which helps them catch their prey. And I guess their biggest challenge with taking down wildebeest is the fact that it's large. And for an individual cheetah to catch up to and latch onto a wildebeest isn't tricky, but to subdue one and bring it down requires all five of them. So that's when the teamwork really kicks in, we've noticed. Very good. Well, we're going to send you across to the sheepdog, Taylor McCurdy, to see what her angle on the situation is like.
Well, we've got a view of a lot of cars at the moment, so I do apologise for that. Everyone's on safari, of course, but we've got wildebeest and cheetah. We are first a line of wildebeest and then the cheetah. So just three of the boys sitting there, and then the other two are off to the right. This is going to be very, very, very cool. I am excited to see how this all plays out. So just to give you a very quick update, that female that we were with, we went back, I eventually found her. It was incredible how she was using the little rivets in the land to hide away, because even Masai and his spotter couldn't figure out where she was. I think they thought that I was crazy and I didn't know what I was talking about, because I said she was here, she's sitting here somewhere, she's just that flat. Then I found her again, so I quickly took them into that sighting, and then that's when Scott said, Taylor, you need to get here now. So I got here now. But she was quite flat still, fast asleep. And then good news for a little bit later as well. Hopefully after the Musketeers hunt and take down a wildebeest, there were 4 male lions not too far away. That's what all those cars were racing towards. So hopefully we'll be able to go back there, because I'd quite like to see 4 male lions. I'm not sure if they were big boys, if they were sub-adults, but that's a really nice size coalition. So there's plenty of things on the menu for us this evening. And there's plenty of things on the cheetahs menu this evening too. Now, they could either go for a wildebeest, they go for a Thompson's gazelle. I don't know if so many cheetah would want to go for something like a Thompson's gazelle. They're all just going to get a mouthful and it's going to be finished. But there are plenty different size wildebeest here, from sub-adults to, females, and then of course to big bulls. They can choose what they want to take down. And I said to Manu this morning, it's on my bucket list. I have a Kenyan bucket list of things that I want to see and things I want to do. And, well, cheetah taking down a wildebeest are one of them. Now, a question from Peyton. You're wondering, how far can a cheetah sprint? Unfortunately, as well equipped as they are for speed, they're not built for stamina like the wildebeest are. The wildebeest can keep running for ages and ages, but nowhere near the speed of a cheetah. So it's about 300 or 400 meters that they can sprint for, and then they're probably going to have to stop and have a little bit of a rest. And I'm wondering if that's not what happened with that female cheetah. She maybe went for something and was unsuccessful just before we got there, or a little while before we got there, and that's why she was panting so much. Because when I saw her again now, she was a lot more relaxed. She wasn't breathing as heavily. Don't go down, cheetah. One's flat, the other 4 seem to be sitting up and sort of paying attention. Well, I think, actually, I should probably just use my binoculars as well. I'm lazy when it comes to that. We forget that I can pick them up and have a scan. And it's cooling down. It's becoming very, very, very nice. And in not too long, the sun is going to disappear behind the clouds as well. Which will make it a little bit gloomy, which I hope it doesn't, because we're not far away from golden hour. It comes so quickly. But this is really exciting. Now, you see, this I can sit around and wait for, because I know how rewarding it will be when those cheetah get on the move and start going. And the way we've positioned ourselves, it's going to work absolutely perfectly. Well, we hope. Then, in theory, we've been chatting about it most of the day, how we're going to tag team this. And we sometimes do it with wild dog in the Sabi sand, although I haven't done it for quite some time. This is going to be very, very cool to get 2 different angles. And wildebeest are completely oblivious to the fact that they're walking towards some cheetah. Not that it matters though. I mean, they're going to choose their target. Remember, we saw that wildebeest today that looked like it had some sort of issue with its hindquarters, and it looked like it was in its hips, a bit of stiffness. Now that would be the perfect wildebeest for these cheetah. I'm sure it's actually the same herd. I think they've just walked into the corner and grazed along the lugger, the drainage line, and now you're feeding back in this direction of the cheetahs. It's like they've completely forgotten that they were chased around once this morning. Not very intelligent creatures now, are they? And that's exactly what those cheetah were hoping for, is that they didn't have to go walk about for too long or too far. They actually just waited for the animals to come to them, which is very clever. They've obviously done this before. Not their first wildebeest hunt. But I'm very, very excited. I cannot tell you. I'm actually shaking with excitement. And then I'll be able to put a tick next to cheetah hunting wildebeest. Scott's seen a fair amount though. He's had his fair share. But for now, they're very relaxed. They don't look like they're going to do too much just yet. Okay, I'm going to send you about 200 meters, maybe a bit more, maybe 300 meters away to Scott in the other car.
So, it seems like things have calmed down drastically here. As I'm sure you can tell, you've probably been sniping some views from Taylor's vehicle. But I really do think it's worth us just trying out this new method of putting all of our eggs in one basket and double teaming a sighting with these boys. I'm fairly confident it's just a matter of time until they launch their attack. It's not uncommon for them to actually wait until it gets a little bit darker because then they can create confusion with more ease, and it's easier for them to single out a weak member of the herd, and they don't have to worry as much at night about the rest of the herd coming back and chasing them off, which is more of a reality during the daylight hours. Now, we were discussing about cheetah and big cats hunting ostriches earlier, and Jahawi had a very interesting story about a coalition of 3 male cheetah on a reserve called Lewa, which is in kind of central Kenya on the Laikipia Plateau. It's a very well-known reserve. It's got a great rhino breeding program there. And these 3 male cheetah killed an ostrich. Well, they actually specialized, I think, possibly in catching and killing ostriches. So my guess of cheetahs not being good ostrich hunters was incorrect. They can, in fact, do that, and wouldn't it be an incredible scene to see these 5 boys try and take one down? I would find it very surprising, though, because there's just so much other more suitable prey for them in this area that I would be surprised if they decided to take on an ostrich. Pleasantly surprised. Ostrich can run very, very quickly, so it would be an epic, epic showdown. And they're tall, so it would be difficult for a cheetah to get on one's back, or more difficult than a wildebeest, I would say. For now, though, we wait patiently. The herd has still got no idea that these cheetah are here, and it doesn't make a huge difference even once they do see them, because what you often notice is that they actually head towards cheetah as opposed to flee from them once they initially see them. So it's a bit of a standoff until the cheetah can turn the herds around and get their hooves trampling through the earth, and that way, once they're moving and kind of running slightly away from the cheetah, it becomes a lot easier for them to work out who to take down. Didn't catch your name, but somebody would like to know who would be in an advantageous position if they were to be cornered. Would it be the cheetah or the wildebeest? Well, I guess the cheetah would be in a better scenario than the wildebeest, because it's ordinarily the prey trying to escape the predator. So if the prey was cornered, then it's going to make life easier for the predator, in theory. Having said that, though, it could work in default. If a wildebeest was cornered, it would be forced with no other option than to confront the cheetah. And if it did that from the get-go, you'd probably find the cheetah would look elsewhere for another easier meal, a less confrontational wildebeest. But sadly, the prey animals don't realize that by standing their ground and actually confronting the predators, they'd have more of a chance of kind of deterring them from trying to attack. And often it's that trigger mechanism that only is triggered once the prey begins to run. If the prey stands still, the predator almost waits. It's when you start running away that the predator thinks, okay, now it's time for me to catch you. Out here in the Mara, though, I don't think there's going to be too many corners that a wildebeest would get cornered in. It would be very unfortunate to find yourself cornered in such an open landscape. Hi, Gareth, you'd like to know if cheetah can take down zebra. And yes, they can. In the 4 months or so that we've been following them, I think Brent is the only individual who has seen them successfully catch a zebra. And I'm guessing that zebra wasn't a fully grown one. A fully grown zebra would be a very tricky task. Look at this guy creeping up, moving slowly so as to not give away their position. And this is a very good sign. The fact that they're just lying here at the moment obviously doesn't show huge signs that they are interested in hunting, but the way they're kind of slinking about now indicates that they want to try and go unnoticed until such point that they want to launch their attack. Often with these guys. They'll just walk very proudly through these open clearings. But they are definitely looking stealthy this afternoon, and hopefully this individual will get the rest of his coalition up and moving. We're not sure who's dominant out of them yet. It's very difficult to tell. The only one that's easy to distinguish from the others is D'Artagnan, who's an individual with a collar, and he seems to be the head of suffocation. He's head of the suffocation committee when it comes to dispatching prey once it's been caught. So he's often the one administering the chokehold, and he's also often the one who tends to do the kind of dirty work, chasing vultures off or keeping wildebeest at bay that may be coming back to rescue their missing herd member. But any one of them could get up and start launching the attack, and the rest kind of follow suit. Sometimes I'm actually surprised at how lazy some of the individuals could be. They kind of lag back. But their powerful scenario is really it only really comes into play once the prey is caught. And like I said, it's not difficult for them to catch a wildebeest in general. They're not the fastest prey, but bringing the prey down and getting it off its legs is the hard work, and it requires all of them to jump on board and wrestle the prey down. This is looking positive. A little bit of grooming before they head off to the restaurant this evening. Okay, very good. Well, I'm hoping that in the next few minutes they're going to get up and moving, so we're going to send you across to Taylor's vehicle, where if and when they do, you're going to have some wonderful, wonderful views.
Yes, I'm glad that they're up and moving around now. They have been spotted though, as you can see. Wildebeest are forming a wall now, which I love watching when wildebeest do that, and buffalo do it particularly well. Well, it works nicely when you've got a large group of animals now doesn't it? So, whew, they're all up. They're so far away from us, it's actually quite difficult to see. Now, I'm quite interested to see how this is all going to pan out. I'm just trying to see where the others are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, there they all are. I'm just quickly double checking. Okay, how the wildebeest are now not turning their backs on the cheetah at all. They're going to stand and they're going to face to say, we see you. However, is this intimidation method going to work for the wildebeest this afternoon, or are the cheetah going to call their bluff and go charging on in? We were talking about this morning, and wildebeest most certainly can chase cheetah away if they all decide to stick together. However, they're not the bravest of animals. So if they do go charging in, the cheetah, of course, like I said, they're going to call the wildebeest bluff, and the wildebeest are going to panic and they're going to run away, and that's when they're going to make their move. So as they're walking towards this group, you'll find that they'll be looking for a particular weak one, a small one. They're going to start searching for their target and keep an eye out on it. Now, from all the footage that I've ever watched with cheetah hunts and things like that, it's amazing how, they're going, that's the one I want, that's the one I'm going to go for. And this could cause a bit of confusion, the fact that they're splitting up too. The wildebeest are not going to know which cheetah to watch, which is going to work to their advantage as well. Lots of little swallows and things bombing in between the wildebeest and the cheetah, catching all the insects. Let's see. See that? All splitting up there. They don't know where to watch. But they're coming in closer. All the wildebeest are coming. They're huddling up with one another now. I can't see the cheetah anymore. I'm not sure where they are. They're hidden in and amongst the wildebeest. No, I still can't see the cheetah. Let me look with my binoculars. Sorry, it's very difficult to try and keep track. I think the cheetah just walking on those are Tommies. Can you see them, Manu? it's hard. It's amazing how they've just disappeared in between the feet. Look how they're all swarming in. Oh, there they are. I've got them. You got them again to the, I think, a little bit to your left. Just start to see them popping out. I think keep going. No, those are just the wildebeest. I can see the cheetah with my naked eyes. So from where Scott is to the right, about 50 meters. They're now in between the wildebeest. There we go. There's one cheetah. I can't see the rest of them though. It's particularly difficult to spot and to see where on earth they're going. See, I think they're waiting. They're making their move. There's a Thompson's gazelle in and amongst these wildebeest, and I think it's going to be a bit of a problem. Although they're quick, even though they are quick, I could get lost in between the wildebeest and panic and not see where the cheetah are coming from. They're all starting to turn round and round now. I'm just watching the wildebeest from a distance. It's hard to stay focused on one thing. Like I said, I don't know where the other cheetah have gone. I've only got eyes on one now. I'm just going to have another scan with my binoculars. Have you got them? Right, let's jump across onto Scott and see. He should have a much better view of the Musketeers.
We do have a great view indeed. We've just been inching behind after them, and I'm sure one of them is going to start a surge at any point in time. Here they go, the ones. It's so difficult to know which ones to watch, because any one of them could launch the attack at any moment. How awesome is this? Okay, this is looking promising. You see, when the herd really starts running quickly like this is what excites the cheetah, and this is what will open a window of opportunity for them to work out who they are going to try and take down. So this is exactly the scenario they want to unfold. But for now, it seems like just a wall of wildebeest, not showing any weaknesses just yet. Now, we are going to probably reposition now so as to make sure we don't get left in the dust. As you can see, when Jahawi zooms out, we're quite far away. So, no luck just yet, but they are definitely planning to do some damage to one of these wildebeest. There's no two ways about it. Let's look at this individual here. He's just stopped what he's doing and started heading straight towards them. Now this is looking promising. This one individual is hopefully going to be the one who starts off the process here. Oof, this is going to be good. Here goes. Come on, boy. Who are you going for? Coming straight towards us. Job. There we go. Great work. No joy. What an incredible scene. Look at all the dust that's being kicked up by the wildebeest. And no joy just yet, but it looks like it's going to try again. This individual's really backing himself. We're going to send you across to Taylor quick.
Hey, sorry everybody. Comms are interesting. So it seems as though the cheetah have split the wildebeest up in two groups, and I think that's exactly what they wanted to do. I think they wanted to get rid of the bulk of the herd. And you saw with Scott just a moment ago that there's one cheetah up in front that is clearly interested. Just here we go. That wants to catch something, and it's a relatively big cheetah. I wonder if it's I know that there's 2 cheetah in this group, and D'Artagnan, the collared male, is one of them that are one of the biggest. I don't know who the other one is, but this fella over here was very, very keen. He chased a wildebeest for not too much time, just a small amount of time. The rest of them were a bit slow making their way in, so now I think they're just reassessing, deciding what they're going to do, and then go from there. They need to work together. They have to work together. If they don't work together, they're going to struggle to get themselves a meal. But now they seem to be moving away from the wildebeest. Of course, it's not over. It's never over. You don't never quite know. But once they've put they need to get not too close to their prey, because obviously they rely on building up speed, but they can do so very, very, very quickly. There's a Thompson's gazelle just watching on.